Hello, this is Kevin Minton with the FATT Show, where it's football all the time. We're here where we saw Clackamas beat Central Catholic 40-0. Here with me, I have Jordan Johnson here with EForce football. Jordan, tell me a little bit about this game tonight. It was really something shocking. You know, Central Catholic coming in here at number 4 and facing the Clackamas Cavaliers team. Tell me what you thought of coming into this game.
Yeah, so I mean, you got a bunch of nationally ranked kids, young kids playing for Central, traditional power, and then Clackamas, a team that's been rising in the state semifinals last year, undefeated. Not a lot of people gave them a shot. I think 8 out of 8 people, I was the only one that had them winning tonight, and obviously they did that. So the good thing about Clackamas, they have a lot of kids returning on top of the talent that is in that senior class. Cole Turner, the 6'6" wide receiver commit, plays for us in the off season. He's going to Nevada. Definitely a kid we're gonna hear a lot more about in the coming season. But point being is I think this Clackamas showed that they're a state title contender. I don't know if I could say that in previous seasons. The talent they have at the opposite wide receivers, 2 juniors on the tackles, 6'5", 6'6", Kelson Hennessy and Brian Espinoza. So kids that you don't necessarily know about aren't household names like you would have with this Central Catholic team that just got beat 40-0.
Wow, and with a score like that, tell me what the mindset of a football player is when they look at themselves and they're down by, say, 20 points during the game. What is a person's mindset, especially Central Catholic, coming in number 4, thinking that they would be able to maybe have better results with this game?
Yeah, I mean, you don't give up. You saw every seat in this place taken today. So, I mean, you continue to do what you do. You have talent in that senior class, but you also have a bunch of younger kids. The 2020 group out here, you have 5 nationally ranked kids for Central Catholic starting, playing both ways a lot of the time. So, I mean, these are going to be kids that we're going to hear about for years to come. This is obviously unexpected and something they'll have to use in these next couple games coming up here and into the playoffs, because Central's still a legit team. But give a lot of credit to Clackamas. They're gonna be around come state title time, and they're a legit contender.
It's interesting about that because we look at Clackamas, many people will probably look on paper and see that possibly Clackamas maybe didn't have a shot. But you going into it knowing that they had the players, they had the actual game time decisions and what they were able to do as far as preparation for Central Catholic, they had that all ready for this team facing Central Catholic Rams.
Yeah, Bushman, head coach Joe Bushman, does a phenomenal job. I mean, he's got these kids dialed. The numbers from the freshmen on up are something that a lot of other schools don't have. I mean, he's got kids to choose from, people, the support within the community. He's doing everything right. So give a lot of credit to Coach Bushman and these kids, not just the seniors, but from the sophomore group on up. We saw kids contributing every which way. So we're going to see this team not just this year, but for years to come competing.
And I think as time goes on, you get to the state title game, and this is something where you said Clackamas will be in the mix somewhere in there. Well, tell me this about Central Catholic. Where do they go from here? Being a ranked number 4 team, where do they go from here? What do they have to do to possibly regroup and take care of business going forward?
Well, I think they will regroup. I mean, Cade Knight and your starting quarterback as a sophomore, Silas Starr and Calvin Saunders, both starters at wide receiver, sophomores. Elijah Elliott, Miles Jackson, starters as a sophomore at running back. You have 5 sophomores starting that are known, like I said, nationally. And I think they're going to continue to they will continue to get better. It's going to be about that senior group providing them the line play and doing those other things so they have a chance to beat. I mean, they beat Jesuit last week. So let's not get crazy. They got it taken to them tonight, right? So this is one game. You learn from it, and you get back in the mix and do what you need to do to improve. I think we'll see Central Catholic, still one of the top 4 to 8 teams in the state. I would not be surprised to see them in the state semifinals or what have you. This is going to be a learning experience, and they're going to need to definitely, come back a lot stronger and show up, especially up front, because it was a whooping up front. I mean, you're not going to want to see this game film if you're a Central Catholic lineman.
Right, it's pretty much a Central Catholic. You flush it out. You flush it out of your system. You move forward as the season goes on. Tell me this about Clackamas, though. Do they have any players right now that are, you think that are seniors that stand out to you, or that potentially have maybe possible offers for college offers or some good prospects there?
So great question. Mitch Majeski, the starting quarterback, the senior, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions coming into tonight, 83.5% completion percentage. So he's a player of the year candidate. He's your QB. You've got legit linemen up front, 6'5", 6'6", like I said, at the tackles. Nick Vaughn, 3 touchdowns, a smaller running back, but did a great job. And then Cole Turner, I've been talking Cole Turner for the last year and a half. This kid is all of 6'6", committed to Nevada, but I project him as having 2, 3, 4, 5 more Pac-12 schools come in on him before signing day. So he's going to have some legit options. If I'm Nevada, I'm definitely not getting too complacent on him showing up. I mean, just to be honest, he's going to have some really nice options before signing day. He's that good. Cole Turner, if hypothetically speaking, if he's in the Pac-12, in my opinion, he's one of the best before he's done. So when you have those type of players plus that foundation with regards to their line play, their linebackers, just that nucleus with Coach Bushman, you're going to have a shot moving forward in the coming seasons.
What do you see how it's shaping up maybe next week and within the couple 2 or 3 weeks and within the standings?
So I think this year it's as open as it's been in the last decade. Rarely do you have 6, 7, 8 teams that have a legit shot of winning a state title. Typically it's 1 or 2 and the rest play to get as far as they can. This year, tonight, for example, we saw number 3 South Medford down 14-7 to South Salem. I don't know what the final is, but my point is you have a bunch of teams, Westland, South Medford, Sheldon, West Salem, Clackamas, Central Catholic, a bunch of kids that can play. And so what makes this year fun, in my opinion, this 2018 class, we're going to end up with about 30 D1 kids. In the state of Oregon, that's unheard. That doesn't happen.
Does not happen.
Does not happen. So not just that, but you're going to have 6, 7, 8 teams that are going to be competing come late November, December for that state title, which in my opinion makes it a lot more interesting coming out here. You don't expect a 40-0 whooping like we just saw, but this is what really makes you say, okay, Clackamas is the real deal. So Clackamas, Westland, I want to see Westland, Lake Oswego. Lake Oswego is not only young and loaded, but they can play with anybody as well. So we get to watch these TRL games. Every week there's 2 TRL games where you've got typically top 10 teams. So I think it's really fun to just see some of these guys now and see who stays healthy, who comes and shows up come playoff time.
And so do you see also too a separation of, as the weeks go on, that there's a little bit of a separation of these, say, teams that come out in front and they really separate themselves from maybe the other flock of some, a little bit of the other teams, maybe they're not doing too well, or maybe they were playing really tough early. Now they've kind of fallen back a little bit. What do you think?
So with Lake Oswego, for example, you got to stay healthy. If you're limited up front, Clackamas has a bunch of kids. They've got a second unit that can step in and play. That's going to play a huge, huge role come playoff time if you're in a dogfight, not in a 40-0 ball game. But that's where these kids tonight, flying around, having fun. Kids that you didn't even know. Jacob Erskine, 6'4", 215, coming off the edge, outside linebacker coming off the edge. People didn't know who he was. We knew from the offseason, but those are the type of kids that are influential, not necessarily big names, but they're becoming that right now. And so it's a lot of fun to see some of these kids that you see in the offseason doing work and then show up on a Friday night in a game like this and represent. So I think the individuals that stay healthy in a season like this, where numbers aren't exactly on their side, those are the teams that are going to progress and stay alive late.
Well, we thank you very much, Jordan Johnson. We thank you for your time and really your insight on really the game tonight, but then really what will go on in the future here come the coming weeks and some of these marquee matchup type games. Interestingly, too, is that you see a lot of times that these players, it's a next man up mentality. They grow before our eyes and they really show becoming playmakers for their teams, right?
They do, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Oregon high school football has turned a corner. 30 Division I kids coming out of this state. Like I said, that's very unique. So congrats to all the athletes and coaches that have made it happen.
Well, thank you again. We appreciate it, Jordan.
Yes,
thank you again for being on the show with
Absolutely.
Football all the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.